Okay, now before I proceed to do a few more rows, you have 3 more rows left, so it's best that I sew the eye before I add stuffing. So it's easier to sew now, but up to you. If you think that you prefer to sew after you add stuffing, then you can go ahead. So this one is critical because I sew the nose first. So after I sew the nose, then only I sew the eyes. So now I have to make sure the eye should be here and not like this, because this is the nose. It goes all the way here, this tip of this heart shape. This is the eye. So now let me show you the other eye, how I'm going to do that. You see there are some yarns left over in the middle here. Okay, let me just grab the yarn first and put it through a tapestry needle. Okay, now look at this part of it. See, this is the nose. It should be here. Then you also have to take into consideration where's the other eye. Okay, somewhere here. This is the white yarn from the middle. I just put through one of the hole here, and the tail from the black yarn. I put through in another hole here. The white is here. Put the black in another hole. Okay, put it through, and you just hold tight and see if it's the right spot. Is it too far from here? Okay, it's the same. And from here to here, is it too high, too low? Here should be about right, right? Anything is right. Okay, so once you figure out that this is the correct spot, that 2 tail that I have just now, you just tie a knot. So this eye is not going anywhere. So now you do not need to put any pin to hold it. I use this tail to tie a knot to hold it. So now it got nowhere to run. And now I grab this yarn. I'm going to sew all around it. So you're going to poke into, wait, let me see. Once it's fixed, but anyway, Mang, you always see one side of the head, right? You do not see both at the same time. Okay, so it should be right here. So when you poke, you do not poke here. I mean, let's say the side is here, you do not poke away. You poke into the stitch that is underneath the eye. Okay, this one you be careful because I do not want to show any of this white part. So okay, right, let me get this away. Okay, from here I did one stitch here, so I'm going to do one more stitch here. In the next stitch you pull, because here I can see some white around here, so I'm going to cover that. I'm going to put through the 2 loop, and you see sometimes you can see the white part here, right? So our job now is to cover all this and at the same time sew it onto the head. So since there's no stuffing, it's way easier to sew, unless of course you do not like to sew. Okay, so now you see You check around and see. You can see the white part. And you sew another stitch here. Okay, so now you just go around it, just sew around it, and any part that you can still see the white, you do one more stitch. So make sure you put through both loop. If you put through one loop, you might be able to see the white part. So put it underneath. Put in the stitch that is under the eye, so that the black part here will not smear until so far away. Okay, next. One more here, just underneath the eye. And you go through both loops. So if after you make this stitch and you see that you cannot see any of the white, you can continue into the next stitch and take a look and see. If you think that here there's too much black here, or it's not round enough, you can add a few stitches here to make it more round. So I'll come back to you once I have this nicely secured. Okay, as for the ear and the mane, I can only do that once I complete this hole here. So that is after stuffing, after I complete seal the hole, then only I can put the ear, because Mang's head is not like this, it's like this, and the body is here. So now we continue with the last 3 rows. It's the last 3 rows. It's a decrease row. Okay, so I'm going to do, oops. Okay, I'm going to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and let me add my marker. I did not add a lot of stuffing, I just add half of it so that it will not interfere with my crochet up here. So 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, decrease. Okay, so this one you do 8 sets of it, and by the time you come back here, 8 sets. By the time you come back here, you should have 24 stitches. Sorry, the previous row, I forgot to tell you that 2 single crochet and a decrease is 1 set. Just now my example, I did 2 sets, but all in you need 8 sets. Okay, so now we're going to go to row 26. Row 26, I'm going to do 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. This is 1 set, so you're going to do 8 sets, and by the time you come back here, you should have 16 stitches. Again, this last row you're going to do decrease all the way. Means there should be 8 sets of it. You just do 2 together all the way. This is 1, 2 together. You should do 8 of it. Another 2 together. For those beginners, you have to be careful because once it's at this point, it's kind of stretched out. So I hope you know where is the next stitch. If you look carefully, this stitch is taken. These 2 has become 1. So your next stitch should not be here. It should be here. So if you're not sure, you can actually add a marker to kind of remind yourself where is the next 2 together. So I'll come back to you once I am at the last set. Oh. Okay, I'm going to cut the yarn. And I'm going to use a tapestry needle. You just sew on the front loop, just the front loop. And you pull. So after you pull, just take a look at it. If you think you have holes here, you think the holes are kind of big, you use this to kind of hide it, because I'm supposed to bring this, I'm gonna hide this yarn inside anyway, so just hide it among all these holes here. Just take a look at this stitch, where this stitch should go. But when you stitch, do not make it too long, where you can see the line. You make it look like as if it's just another single crochet. See, it's just like another single crochet. Excuse me. And next we're gonna attach the ear and the mane. Okay, now I'm gonna make the mane, the hair on the back of the head of a horse. So we're gonna start off by making a magic circle, or you can call it a magic ring. You make a knot. I'm going to make kind of like a heart-shaped thing, because at the end of the mane, the ponytail, it look kind of bit like a heart shape. Okay, so in the magic ring, I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2. After chain 2, you're going to do a double crochet, followed by a half double crochet, followed by a single crochet, and you chain 2. You slip stitch into the ring. After this chain 2, slip stitch into the ring, you do another single crochet, followed by a half double crochet, followed by a double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch into the ring, and I'm gonna pull this tight, real tight, and you get something like this, like a mini heart shape. I will hide this yarn around here later on. Then after this mini heart shape at the ponytail at the end of the mane, I'm going to chain 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So you're gonna be this long. So after 31 stitch, you go to the second stitch from the hook. This is the hook, this is the first stitch, this is the second stitch. You go to the second stitch from the hook, you do a single crochet. So in this same stitch where you did the single crochet, do a half double crochet into the same stitch, half double crochet. So now you go to the next stitch, you do 2 double crochet. It's like a double crochet increase. So 2 double crochet into the next stitch. And after this, I'm going to do half double crochet in the next stitch. And in the same stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So you get a bump like this. This is one set. So now you do about 4 to 5 sets, depending, up to you whether you want to do 4 or 5. So let me show you one more set. You do a single crochet in the next stitch. In that same stitch, you do a half double crochet. And you do a double crochet increase in the next stitch. It means 2 double crochet in that same stitch. And you do half double crochet in the next stitch. And you do a single crochet in the same stitch. And you slip stitch into the next. See, you will have 2 humps. So now you carry on, you do either 2 more sets or 3 more sets. Up to you how long you want this to be. I'll come back to you once I'm at the end of the row. Okay, I did this much. I did about 5. You can do 4 of this hump, or you can do 5 of it, up to you. And make sure here you have quite a tail, so that when it reaches the end of the head, you'll see this tail hanging at the end. So here I'm going to make sure I leave a long tail, because I'm going to sew this onto the head. I'm going to leave a very long tail because I'm not sure how much yarn I might need. I think I need to sew this stitch by stitch, follow the stitches, sew it to the head one by one. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. Okay, now I'm going to sew this mane first. Once I get this mane done, then I will know where the 2 ears should be. It should be here. So the mane, I think my eyes got too much to the back. Well, I don't think I can do much now. It should be more to the front, so that the ear is here. Well, I think it still look quite cute. So this one I did 5 hump. So I want to make sure by the time I reach here, I have enough tail here, this ponytail. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to hide this. Let me do some hiding of this. This is the tail from the magic ring. Maybe I made it go up this chain. Is it noticeable? Because this yarn here, there's nowhere to hide, and I do not want to cut it too short because chances of it coming off after a few washes quite high. I mean, if you want this to be a lasting toy, might as well do it properly, right? Unless you're doing it just for video's sake. So normally I'll try to hide as much of the tail as possible instead of just cutting it off like that. Is it noticeable? Okay. Because it's too short, so I would have to do it this way. I want to bring it up to here and tie a knot. I'm not sure if it's long enough. And then the balance, I'll just hide it inside the head. Yes, I made it to the top. Okay, so these two here, these two tail, let me tie a knot. Since my yarn ends at the bottom of this, it ends here at the bottom, so the top part here, I think I need a pin or something to lock it. Okay, there's no fixed route to it, just some trial and error. Okay, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it should be until the top of the head here. So let me just get a marker and hold it there until I reach there. So now I'm going to sew it onto the head. I have to be real careful because this yarn is kind of long. Okay, now at least I can pull with this holding it. So this is at the edge here, exactly where it goes flat. So I think it should be around here. Just follow this magic circle line. Make one stitch first. Okay, kind of hold it. And then I'm going to stitch it. You go through the chain here, go through this chain here, make a stitch through and poke it into the head. And you go into the next stitch here. So you kind of hold it there. Then you take a look and see if this ponytail is at the right spot. And this is the eye, the nose. Okay, it should be right. So by the time you come up to here, you just make sure that it's in the middle of this heart shape. I mean, it's kind of like a center point, because as I said, when you sew, you might sway to one side. And the tail here, this tail, I think I'll just hide it inside the body. Just hope it stays inside. You can make one stitch there. You can make one stitch here just to like hold it there. Okay. So this is roughly how I'm gonna stitch. Means I'm gonna come up from here, go into the foundation chain of this main, go over it, and make another stitch. Make sure this stitch is so small that you can't see. And make sure where you're going. Make sure you know where you're going, which line. Oops. Okay, you got tangle. That's why for this part here, you can't really go fast. So when you pull, you make sure it doesn't show. It doesn't show that you make a stitch. So I'll come back to you once I have all this assembled. Okay, once I reach the tip here, so how am I going to make a knot or end this yarn? What I did is, because this is dark blue, this is light blue, I just go underneath this and make a few stitches to and fro, like from here to here. So you just make through and fro a few round, and you can actually cut your yarn. So you're gonna look like this over this side, and look like this over this side. This is going to be wavy, and the tail, this is the tail here. So you just make a few round here underneath this blue. I already make a few round through and fro, and you can cut it. So that it has enough yarn hiding inside there and it's quite secure. So I'm going to cut it and hide the balance inside. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. And one more thing, because this is supposed to be a mask. When you wear the mask, you will have one part here. It looks like as if you put on the mask. So here I would have one more layer of, you can call it a scarf, but it's not exactly a scarf. It's just a extension from this head, like an extension mask. When you put on a mask, there's an extension where you can see there's extra here. So now I'm going to make that part. Okay, I've assembled one of the ear. The ear should be just behind the eyes, slightly behind the eyes between this main. So there should be one more ear here. So this magic ring tail, just hide it inside the ear. You do not need stuffing for the ear. So I'll come to this side. I'm going to bend it a bit. Right here, just right behind the this eye is not right. Well, it's too late to do anything now. Just improvise. So the ear should be here. So I'll make a stitch here and go over the other side. Make one stitch like this. And so here, oops, oh, have to be careful with this. Don't lose the tail, the ponytail. Okay. Okay, I think this side is nicer. This side is too close, slightly too close. Oh, no, I think it's about right. Okay, so I'm gonna bend the ear a bit like this. So I make a stitch this side just to hold it in place. And now I'm gonna stitch once on the head and once on the ear. And later when I pull, I'm gonna stay intact. It's gonna be firmly attached. I'll come back to this side. Just make sure all this edge is sewn in like this. And I'm gonna make a few stitches here on the front part as well, like this. Because just now I make stitches on the back. So now the front is like doing one round, one circle. I'm so used to sewing without stuffing, and now I have to sew with stuffing. It's a bit difficult. Okay, and then here you can just poke it anywhere. And once you have it attached, you can actually shape it a bit. You can make it pointy like this, and you take a look and see if there's any hole, any part that you miss out. I think it's about right. It's just that when this line here, it looks as if this side got more space, but if you put it like this is exactly in the middle. Okay, so now for this part, I just move it along the head. Since it's of the same color, do not pull too tight here. Just move it along everywhere, here and there, so that it is kind of locked. And the balance tail, you just hide it inside. When you make this stitch, you make sure you follow this single crochet line. Don't go overboard, if not it will look like a stitch. At least now it looks like one of the single crochet. Just make it go around here and there, and the balance yarn, I'm gonna hide it inside the head, and this way it's kind of secure. Okay, now just hide the balance inside here. Isn't that ponytail cute? It looks kind of like a heart shape with a heart shaped nose and a heart shaped ponytail. Okay, now we're gonna attach it to the body. Okay, now to assemble the head to the body, and I didn't leave a long tail anywhere for sewing, so now I get an independent yarn, tie a knot with one of the tail here. Oops. Oh, okay. Wait. Let me just tie this properly. Okay, and hide this inside, and I'll make a stitch so that it comes out this way. I leave a very long tail because I think I want to go a few round. The head is quite heavy, so now when we assemble, it's up to you whether you want it to face this way or this way. This way means the hand is here, the head look like this. I prefer to have it face this way, so the hand is here and the ponytail is here. Oh, I think my ponytail is long enough. It almost reached the middle part of the body. Okay, so it's gonna be here. The body should be a bit to the back because here this part is longer. Let me make one stitch. Make one stitch here, and I'm going to go back here and go to this end and make one more stitch in the other side of the body. So once I attach this, I make one more here to kind of hold it in place before I start to assemble, before I go all around it. Okay, so now you take a look and see. It's still not firm, but at least you take a look and see if this is how it should look like. Okay, I think this is how it should look like. Hold it on to the table, press it here, so you follow this line. There's one line here, you just follow this line. You go in, once on the head and once on the body. The first round you go through, it will still be quite flimsy. The head might shake a bit, but after you make few rounds around the head, it will be fine. So you hold it on to the table because the head is kind of heavy and the body is way too small. And you just go through this line. Okay, yep, I think the head should be here. And you make one stitch on the body, one stitch on the head. So now the front part is quite secure. I've got the front part secure. So now go to the back, turn it to the back. Make sure you do not accidentally sew the tail, the ponytail. So you go to the back. If it's too heavy, you can just bring it up like this. Don't worry about this, these are just the tail from the previous sewing. Okay, so once I got the front part correct, now the back part, just hold it like this and find a line. So if I decide to go with this line, so I'm gonna stitch according to this line. Just make rough stitches means you don't have to go and make small stitches yet. You just make rough stitches here and there, kind of like hold it. Oh, so sorry. So that it's in place. Then we start to sew a few rounds. So this is how I sew for beginners. So after this, I'm gonna sew this to the head again. I'll come back to you once I have this nicely assembled. Okay, this is how it looked like so far. Look at the ponytail. This is long enough to reach half of the body here. And this is how it looked like in front, and this is the other side. So now I'm going to attach this onto the neck here. So first, I end here, so which means this should be the front part. Okay, just let me put it around the neck. Make sure it faces the correct spot. Then you attach it together first. Kind of make one stitch, you join it. You join it first. Make another stitch here. And another stitch here. Join it first. And you go back here. Then we stitch it onto the head. On this blue part here, stitch by stitch. One stitch on the head. One stitch on this neck piece. The head I make about 3-4 rounds because the head is quite heavy, but as for this thing, 1 round will do because you just want to attach it to the head and make sure it's not visible where you won't see it coming off like this, then it's fine. So for those who want to stop watching from here on, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The subscribe button is over this side, this corner. And before you go, I would like to introduce to you Tata. Sorry, Jimin. This is Jimin. Jimin's hood can actually come off. You can remove the hood. And you can also put back the hood. But then of course, if you remove the hood, it will be earless because the ear is attached to the hood. So when you remove the hood, it doesn't have any ear. So for those who want to watch until the end, don't worry, I'll come back to you and show you how this will look like in the end. And this is how it looked like. So this one will look like this. Like you have a mask on. And when you want to take photo, make sure you have this heart-shaped face this side, like this, and the microphone. So if you like this too, I'm sure you like the rest of the BT21 as well. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, do follow me, and do check out the rest of the BT21 members. So have fun making some of these, and I'll see you in my next post.